Hi, how you doing? Welcome back. And today, this doesn't really have a theme day for this video or anything like that. But if anybody's been following me on Facebook, I have been posting over the last few months. I started working on whittling a chess set, and I've just been bits and pieces, putting some pictures up on Facebook, keeping track of it, things like that. And I'm winding down on it, and I haven't really done a video. I've only done one other carving video, and I haven't done any videos on this chess set. So I figured I would go ahead and do kind of a quick one on it. I'll show my progress real quick where I'm at now and go over what I'm going to be doing, and probably just be some steps to it. It won't be the whole process sped up or anything, but so let me change the camera angle. I'll show you the pieces that I have done already, talk about them real quick, and then I'll get right into the carving. So here we go. Okay, so here's where I'm at so far. I have 16 pawns. I have 4 knights, 4 rooks, 4 bishops, and 1 queen. So, and I'm going to carve the other queen today, and then I have the 2 kings to carve. So I was following a video series on YouTube from another YouTube carving channel, and I'm following his pattern very closely. The only difference is the YouTuber that I'm following has a little more embellishments and detail on his pieces, and I simplified mine a little bit just for the sake of my capabilities and time constraints. I didn't really want this to be a year-long project. So here we go. Like I say, there's the 16 pawns, the knights, the rooks, and the bishops, and the queen is the most recent one. And I'll do a real quick, try and get this in the camera so you can see it. There's my bishop. I need to refine the rooks just a little bit. I want to take the neck down some, just for continuity with the other pieces. They're a lot skinnier when it gets up towards the top part. I really like the knights. Trying to get all 4 of them to, with as much detail as in there, to look the same was pretty difficult. The pawns, there's not a lot of detail there, but there's 16 of them, and boy, what a project that was. And I have to say, somebody that's just getting into carving or whittling, I would say this is a really good kind of a beginner's project, because you can do it as embellished as you want or as simple as you want. And it's a nice series. It makes you have to follow it all the way through, and it just gives you a lot of carving time, and then it gives you the practice of skill building, of repeating a pattern. Nothing more so than the pawns, but they're good because they're so simple, but there's so many of them. It was a lot of really good practice. I ran into a lot of things I'll explain real quick with the wood grain. Cutting with and against the grain, the wood acts certain ways, and when you try to cut it, if you're not careful, you'll chip off a big chunk, and you could kind of ruin your project. So it makes you really conscious of what you're doing, and when you do make mistakes, how to bounce back and repair, or just basically address the mistake that you've made, or not necessarily a mistake, but just whatever had happened. It's very, very good practice. It can be daunting, especially, these aren't so bad, but once doing 16 of these, the problem I have is kind of a big hand, and holding this little piece and trying to do all the carving with it is very difficult. So it was very, very good practice. I'm really glad I did it, and I'm more so glad that I'm closer to the end of it. I discussed briefly in several videos back the history, how I got into carving. I just got into carving as well. Now it's about a year ago this month that I got into it, and it all started with a YouTube video and a Swiss Army knife, and that led into a whole bunch of other stuff. And here I am now, a year later, and I wouldn't say look how far I've come, but I'm really doing a lot more, and I'm really enjoying the hobby. I don't normally carve out here in the garage. It's nice and quiet. I can sit in the house in some sweatpants or something and just relax at the kitchen table and, you know, listen to the radio. And what I like to do is I'll carve little things and I'll hide them for my wife to find. And she has a little collection of different little carvings that I've done over the past year. This right here is mine, because she pretty much could care less about chess, but nonetheless, she still likes it. But this, I won't be hiding this anywhere. This is just going to get finished up and get displayed. So, but hey, enough of that. I'm already, I've got my blank out here. This is my piece that I already carved, so I'll be basing everything off of this one when I carve the new one. I'm already strapped up on my knives, got my glove, got me some water. So I'm gonna quit yapping and get this thing going. Hope I'm in frame. I had to take a break. The couple things are giving me a hard time on here. One, I just got these gloves, and the other ones that I was wearing or have been wearing have got like a rubber layer, or I don't know what you call it. Anyhow, it's got rubber on the palm and the fingers part. Works real good. The problem I was having with them, I think they're too small. I thought maybe it was the rubber was real stiff, but I feel like it has my hand like constricted up, and my hands were getting real tired afterwards. And I think really I just needed a bigger glove. But I wanted to try these because one of the, I don't want to say byproduct, but one of the circumstances using them gloves with that rubber on there is while you're carving, it leaves like a black kind of, all the facets get like, from the rubber that's on the palm and the fingers, leaves like a residue on your carving. And I don't really care about that too much because it's not really noticeable. But the big thing was just how much stress it put on my hands. But the problem I'm having with this one is everything's very slippery. Everything wants to slide around in my hand. The carving I have to really hold tight and it's sliding around in my hand. And the other thing that's really getting on my nerves is the wood chips. You can't get them off. So that's been giving me a hard time. And then this piece of wood is really giving me a fit. The grain, this one particular spot, it chipped out here, and my base is going to be a little smaller than this one. I got to go this way, and then I got to hurry up, turn around, and come this way. It's just the grain on one side is one way, and it's on the other side, it's the other way, and it's just really giving. It's the hardest piece of wood I've had to cut so far. And all these pieces, this one's giving me the biggest problem. I almost left the base a lot thicker on this one, but I really wanted to go ahead. I already had this one done, but I mean, I could have done that because I prefer my queen thick anyhow. But anyways, so I got it finally trimmed down. They're really, really close. I don't know if that picks up. I just have a little bit of detail. I gotta taper this base. I might have to establish the waist a little more. And then I gotta add the little ornament on top and the scallops around the, I guess the hat or the head. So, but I had to take a break. Go. Just scoot back here. So we got her done. All right. This one's the first one. Okay. And then here's the one that I just did. They're very close. If you'll notice the one that I just did here, the little ornament on top of the crown, or little ball, is probably close to half the size of the original one here. The neck in here is just a scotch smaller. Everything else is the same height and all the other dimensions, the waist and everything. The base diameter, I didn't lose too much. I lost a big flake. I didn't show a close-up of it, but I lost because of the grain and everything. As I was making it round, a big chunk popped off. Actually popped off on both ends, but it was more on the top, and the top gets shrunk down pretty good, so that's why I decided to flip it the way I did. But otherwise, everything, you know, it's to be expected when you're doing it by hand like this. Plus, this is, I think, the main like figure carvings that I have. I've probably done about 15 of them, and then you have all the pieces, the 16 pawns, and so forth and so on. So I mean, I still have quite a few carvings under my belt, but we're learning. There's a lot to learn here, and but that's good enough. They'll look good all on a set. It's very close. So that's my 2 queens done, and I have the 2 kings left. So that's that. Thank you for watching.